Champions. I'm John Register, former Olympic trials hurdler, U.S. Army combat vet, Paralympic silver medalist, and now a coach for high-performing leaders navigating high-stakes transitions. And this is Elevate Life, the executive experience. This isn't about motivation. It's not about rah, pump-up session. This is transformation for those who are at the crossroads, executives, entrepreneurs, and leaders who have built success, but are being called to something deeper now, something that makes them quick or sharper and more aligned. Maybe a title change, maybe the runway shortened, maybe the system said, we no longer need you. Whatever it was, something shifted. And now you're trying to figure out what comes next. And this is where the journey begins. In Elevate Life, you get insights, rich video drops, leadership reframes, and powerful questions. It's designed to help you amputate what no longer serves you and elevate what's waiting for you. So whether you've been walking this road just for a little while or you're just stepping into it, welcome to the Elevate Life, the executive experience. So let's take that next step together. I am so excited to be with you today. Why? Because a lot has been happening, and I'm going to share just a little bit of the news with you. I took the advice of my business coach, Tim DeVore. If you want him as your business coach, just DM me and I'll connect you to, who suggested that I reach out to previous clients. Now, these are people who I have delivered a keynote speech for, did a fireside chat to, a breakout session to their companies. And what happened was amazing. Conversations on our reconnections. And I reconnected with one, KATU ABC 2 in Portland, Oregon. This yielded me a time to return to Portland and do 2 more shows. So if you are in the Portland market, please let me know and I will send you all the link to one of the shows. Actually, I want to send it into one of the links right now into this program as well. Now today, we're cutting deep, but for good reason. I want to start with a question that changed my life. It's at the core of my entire leadership framework. And every time I ask it, the room gets a little quiet. Here's the question. What have you had to amputate in order to elevate? This week, I asked that question to best-selling author and keynote legend, Ross Bernstein. His answer reframed how I view focus, discipline, and clarity. So let's listen in. What have you had to let go of, release, or amputate in your life in order to achieve some of the successes that you've had?
I would say being able to say no, which is a really hard thing. You know, John, you and I go to our National Speakers Association conference every year, and it's like just the biggest fire hose, right? It's like it's just 4 days of amazing speakers, breakout sessions, and your mind is blown, right? There's so many bright, sparkly squirrel, oh my God, things I want. You walk out of there, and there's like, I got to do this, I got to do this, and I met this person, I got to follow up, and I'm at the other stage, kind of like you reverse engineer it. I'm not doing any of that. Like I go, I don't bring a pen or a notebook. I just go to soak it all in, meet new friends, see my old friends, get to see you, hang out. And I'm very purposeful about saying, let's go grab a coffee, let's grab a beer, let's go in the pool, let's hang out, let's skip this and go hang out. And that to me is what it's all about. I travel with my wife everywhere, but on that conference, I go alone because I want to spend 24/7 being stupid in the lobby bar at 3 a.m, hanging out with my buddies. And I want to be present. And I've learned to say no to all these other side hustles. You know, I don't do a podcast. I mean, God bless you. Yours is amazing, but I don't have time and I can't focus. I know how much time is involved to make it great. And you do that. And I'm not willing to do that. So I don't do it. I don't do a blog. I don't train the trainer. I don't coach. I don't consult. I don't have an LMS, a learning management system, online university. I don't have a list. I don't have a CRM. I don't do anything. I just speak.
Yeah.
And I've decided that's what I want to do. And you know
I've,
what? Sorry, go ahead.
no. I'll finish your thought. Yeah.
But I've learned to say no. And there's so many things that we feel like, well, I got to do that. I got to do that. So for me, what I've amputated is I've said, I'm not going to worry about all that. I'm going to do business the way I want to do business. And I'm good with that. And that's how I do it.
Ross said, I had to learn how to say no. Boy, don't we all? Not because he's lazy, not because he lacks ambition, but because he's clear. He said, I do not do a podcast. I do not have a blog. I don't coach. I don't consult. I just speak. And guess what? He does it 130 times a year with no marketing. That's not luck. That is leadership, ladies and gentlemen. He's amputated distraction. He's chosen depth over width, presence over pressure, impact over image. And that's the call today. What do you need to amputate? What's the one thing that's stealing your focus, burning your time, or crowding your calendar, but not feeding your purpose? Inside my monthly coaching program or my 90-day leadership sprint, this is one of the topics that I address. Because if you don't make the cut, you'll never make the climb. So if that spoke to you, just shoot me a DM with the word elevate in it, and let's have a conversation. Let's talk. It's not a pitch, a real conversation, because you weren't called to do everything, just the one thing that shifts the room when you walk in. Now, after Ross and I talked about what he amputated, I asked him to describe the kind of leader who leads without ego, not just in title, but in tone. Check this out.
Have you seen, like, when you talk about empathy and being easy to work with, have you seen a leader, like, is there somebody that pops up into your mind, somebody that's a CEO or vice president of sales or somebody that kind of exemplifies those qualities? And what's been the result of leading that person leading in that type of forthrightness, so to speak?
As a journalist, I love studying, what it is that makes the great ones great, and then translating that to business. And I've been able to interview like thousands of professional athletes and coaches, and I love studying the top performers, and then why? What's unique about them? In our world, we get commoditized every day. There's a million leadership speakers, sales speakers, Olympians, authors. I mean, that we just we get commoditized. There's just a lot of people that do what we do. So how do you really differentiate yourself? And I think being easy, and being speedy and just being nice. These are not skills that are Olympic level skills. These are things we learned that we've somehow gotten away from. So, you said earlier, you were talking about, these great athletes in a room of great athletes. You were talking about greatness in a room of greatness. And I'm not trying to shill a book, but I did this book called Wearing the Sea about great captains. And I interviewed hundreds of captains. And one of the things that struck me when you said that was I remember interviewing Olympic team captains. So literally, to your point, these are a room full of captains. Like every single person in that room is the captain of their team. And now they have to take a step back and sort of listen to this one person who's been designated to wear the sea. And it's hard. It's like a really hard, because now you're the alpha male in front of a room of alpha males or females or whatever. So how do you do that? And I think it's being a great listener, right? It's doing all these little things. I had an event recently where I was, it was a sales conference in the medical device space, and there were, I don't know, maybe I had 500 of their salespeople there. 95% of them were Division I athletes. So this company very purposely hires and recruits people who understand what it takes to be on a team. They're good listeners. They're coachable. They can take criticism and feedback. They want to win. They're competitive. So I think finding those commonalities, we work with people all the time, and there's always that special meeting planner that's just so fun, so easy, delightful. They answer their phone, right? They get right back to you. They're just, they want to make things happen. I can't think of an example of this person, but I'll tell you, I try and learn as much as I can. So as a result of these amazing people that I've worked with over the years, my contract, 2 sentences. That's it. I'm easy. Like I'm one of the easiest speakers to work with. Great. We book a deal. I'm going to email you my simple agreement, my photo, my bio, my program description, my W-9, my introduction. Let me know what you need. I'll handle all my own travel. They love me because I'm so easy. Some speakers are like, they've got like the 14-page contract and they need, all these things. And I need a projector to run my PowerPoint. That's it, man. I'll get there early. I'll stay late. And you want me to throw in a breakout? It'd be my pleasure. Don't monetize it. Just under promise, over deliver. Be easy, be great on stage. I book 130 events a year. I don't do any marketing. It's just all word of mouth. If you're a
Yeah.
jerk, word gets out. If you're easy, if you're really good on stage, you make people laugh, you make them feel good. Our job as speakers is to make sure that when people leave that conference, they go, man, I had a great time. I can't wait to come back next year.
Yeah.
That's what we do. And if you can't help do that, you're part of the problem, not the solution.
Yeah.
Ross didn't name just one person, he described a pattern. Olympic captains, Division One athletes, turned sales pros, people who are coachable, people who listen, people who don't complicate success. They show up and they do the work. Ross's speaker contract? 2 sentences. Why? Because he's clear. He's easy. He underpromises, overdelivers, and lets his presence do the talking. That's what I want for every leader that I coach. So again, I'll ask you, where are you making it harder than it has to be for your team or for your clients, for yourself? If you're uncoachable, you're unscalable. If you're unclear, you're unstable. And if you're overcommitted, you're underperforming. In the Elevate Life and Elevation Circle, we fix that. We take complexity out of leadership and replace it with clarity, simplicity, and influence that lasts. Now I want to bring it home with the first thing that Ross said in our conversation. We had a little bit of fun with this one. It was about ego. And what happens when a speaker or leader starts thinking that they are the show? Watch the moment right now. Here we go.
You're writing a book. This book is entitled The Meeting Professional's Anarchist Guide to Destroying Your Next Event. What might one of your chapter titles be?
Hiring a prima donna diva speaker to come mess things up, right?
Hiring the prima donna.
I love how you reverse engineer it and you go this direction. I like where this is going. I've been a member of MPI, Meeting Professionals International, for more than a decade.
Yeah.
So I really enjoy going to MPI meetings and events and like you sitting with those CMPs, sitting with those professional meeting event organizers and learning about what they like about the AV teams and the speakers and the F&B and all the hoteliers and just the business of in our world speaking, but in their world, the business of putting together a meeting. And I know that, just from hearing a lot of their conversations over the years, that they are, these are people who are incredibly stressed out. As speakers, sometimes we think we're the most important piece, but we're just
Right.
one small piece, an important piece, but it's just a small piece. But I always look at every event like a wedding. Like we're like the flowers, right? There's the venue, and there's so many different touch points and things, and a lot of times these professionals they're like offensive linemen in football. You only notice them when they screw up, right? You get a holding call on a big drive, and it's like, oh, and it's like you could be doing perfect the entire time, but in their world, if the room is too cold, if the coffee isn't ready, if the Wi-Fi isn't working, if the AV isn't perfect, these are all these little things that keep them awake at night. So it's our jobs as professional speakers to try and help them make their jobs as easy as possible. And I think that just means don't be a diva, don't be a prima donna, just be easy and get there early, stay late, and help out any way you can. And if that works, then that's success in our world, right?
Ross said this: we're not the whole event. We're just the flowers at the wedding. Mic drop. Look, I know it's easy to start believing your own hype, to drink your own Kool-Aid, as we said back in Oak Park, Illinois, especially when the accolades come in, when your people put your name in lights. But leadership isn't about being in the spotlight. It's about being the mirror that reflects the greatness in the people you are leading. You don't need a bigger mic. You need a better mindset. And that starts with humility. Get there early, stay late, ask how you can help. That's the type of leader who gets invited back, not just to the stage, but to the strategy table. So let me leave you with this. Where are you unknowingly being the diva? And what should shift you? And what would you shift if you chose to serve instead? If this whole Think letter spoke to you, I'd love to hear about it. So leave me a comment, share it with me, DM me, elevate, and let's have a conversation. Let's talk. Because the real flex isn't ego, it's empathy. And the most transformational leaders, they know when to amputate what's no longer serving them, what's no longer needed, so they can elevate to what is next. So until next time, keep amputating what's holding you back and keep elevating everything that's waiting to rise in you. And before I forget, if today's episode sparks something in you, don't just sit with it. Let's go deeper. Join me inside the Elevate Life Executive Strategy session, where we take these insights and put them into action, executive motion. This is where high performers come to pause, to reflect, and to rise with intention. So if you're navigating a high stakes transition, don't do it alone. You belong in the room. And hey, don't keep this to yourself. Invite one friend, because friends make it even better. Now, before we wrap, let me pull back the curtain for just a moment. I'm working on the rewrite of my book, 10 Power Stories to Impact Any Leader. Journal Your Way to Leadership Success. This edition goes deeper with new reflections, tighter coaching prompts, and a sharper lens on growth through story. I am looking forward to it being complete. You are going to really like it. I guarantee it. Promise you. If you like the first one, you're really going to like this rewrite. I also have a second book coming out as well. It's also 10 Power Stories, part 2. And I have 8 of the 10 chapters ready to be formatted. But I need to get the last 2 chapters in. So hey, if you can help me, what do you think I should write? These aren't just stories, they're mirrors. And I can't wait to share them with you. So stay connected, subscribe, reflect, and as always, amputate what no longer serves you, and elevate everything that's waiting to rise in you. Until next time, I'll see you at the top. Go forth, inspire your world. Bye for now.